Welcome to IV Somm. I'm Heather Boyd. My guest today is Julie Ricard of Fortified Grape. Julie, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. So my company Fortified Grape was formed in about 2011. So I work with anything local, vineyards, wine, members of our sommelier community. I do everything to promote local, and that's what Fortified Grape is all about.
That's awesome. Now, you said you work with local vineyards, and I know that off camera we talked about your association with the Eastern Ontario Vintners.
Yeah, so the Eastern Ontario wine producers.
Wine producers.
It's okay.
At some point I'll get it. Eastern Ontario wine producers. So this is a collaboration of vineyards and cider makers.
Yeah, so the whole group, the association, has come together. At one time it was, from what I understand, just local wine producers in the Eastern Ontario region. So now we've opened up the doors, and part of the community, part of the association membership now are ciders and fruit wines.
Okay.
So it's really exciting, the growth of this particular organization, this association.
So how many members do you have right now?
Yeah, so I would guesstimate anybody on the list to about 20.
20? But
yeah.
that's not nearly touching the surface
Oh,
of
not at all.
the vineyards and everything
Not
that are
at
around
all.
here, right?
Yeah.
Now, the whole purpose of this association is to bring more awareness to the actual grape varietals that are in this region. And I'm not familiar with them at all. Julie just kind of schooled me on, well, not schooled, but educated me on some of the grape varietals. So I'll get you to talk about them. They are indigenous to Ontario and Quebec, I believe. And you call them cold climate grapes?
Yeah, they're cold climate grapes. So what they do is they survive temperatures of about minus 35 degrees Celsius.
Because that's average.
That's totally, so straight across Canada, all the northern climates. But they also, these grape varietals have been around for a long time. So they're being grown down through the upper states, so northern states. They're being grown in Quebec. Quebec a lot longer than what we've had them grown here.
Yeah.
It's fairly new, the industry here. So we have things that are, they're cold climate grapes. They're Saint Croix, Sabravois, Frontenac, Marquette are the most known for the reds.
And what are their typical flavor profiles?
Yeah, so we've got deep, rich fruit to a good degree. The key with these guys, though, is that you're going to taste a lot of acidity.
Okay.
And because of that, they are really, really good fruit wines.
And acidity helps our wine to lay down for a number of years.
Yeah, so when you've got an acidity
Yeah.
balance between tannins and acidity, it's huge.
Yeah.
You've got a very long aging wine.
Because they're a bigger, structured wine.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking this is because the Eastern Ontario
wine
producers are trying to approach the VQA, the Canadian Vintners Association, who owns VQA, which is a certification mark in Canada. They're trying to approach them to get their VQA certification on their wine and to be recognized as a wine growing region here in Canada.
We want, basically the association is wanting a level playing field.
Yeah.
So right now, certain grape varietals are recognized as VQA, and they have to be on the list.
They're all the Vinus vinifera ones?
Yeah, the Vinus vinifera, absolutely.
So European grapes primarily.
Our name brand varietals.
So two of grape varietals that are indigenous to Ontario have been recognized under VQA, but it took a long fight for them. And they're Baco Noir and Vidal, and you know ice wines are fantastic from the Vidal grape, and Baco Noirs are huge grapes for cheese wines.
Absolutely, for food wines, very good food wines.
Eastern Ontario wine producers are actually in the process of trying to gain VQA certification for some of their grape varietals, as well as having the Frontenac Arch recognized as a wine region in Ontario.
So we want these grape varietals. So in gaining that certification, we want the option to either be part of it or not. The basis comes down to wanting the grape varietals recognized on the same level playing field as the VQA wines are. So there's huge discrepancies in financial, in the amount of tax vineyards pay. There's a bunch of stuff we can't sell any of these wines that are made with cold climate grapes in the local farmers markets. Because you have to be VQA to be able to sell in the local farmers markets.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
So there's a huge amount of closed door
Yeah.
that we're trying to get the door open so that we can have that level playing field.
Okay, so
That's what
I
it's
just
all
wanted to
about.
back up
Yeah.
and say VQA is a certification mark, and a certification mark in Canada requires that the owner of the mark doesn't use the trademark themselves. What they do is they license it out to people who potentially pay a membership fee or whatever, but those people who license the use of that certification mark must meet a defined standard that's defined by the trademark owner. So that's where the problem is coming in right now for your organizations, in that because the grape varietals are not recognized as being VQA quality, and VQA used to stand for Vintners Quality Alliance. I mean, it still does, but when you see it on a wine bottle, it'll say VQA on it. Because those grape varietals are not recognized by the Canadian Vintners Association, then it becomes even more difficult to get that, obviously.
Yeah, very
So
much
that's one of their requirements, is that it be a designated grape varietal under VQA. So that includes all the vinifera grape varietals, and it includes Vidal and Baco Noir.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, when we're talking about the Frontenac bench,
Frontenac arch, that's okay,
arch,
that's cool.
What they're trying to do is get a geographic indication, which is a designation of this area of the province as being a wine region, so that they can label their wines as being made in Ontario and coming from this specific region.
Absolutely.
Julie, why don't you tell us a little bit about the wine that you brought today?
Sure. So
Because we always do this and we drink. So.
yeah, that's it. So this is the best part about being a sommelier and alumni, is that, you know, we get to do this. So this wine, Smokie Ridge, Soldier's Pride, produced from the grape varietals at the vineyard. The vineyard is located just outside of Kemptville. It's in South Mountain. Smokie's family came from the background of military, serving military members.
Mm-hmm.
When he retired, he now works for the public service, and when he retired, he wanted to continue to recognize families of the fallen, people that he lost on tour who were over there. And so 15% of the sales of this wine goes back to families of the fallen.
That's fantastic.
huge.
And you know, my dad was Air Force. He spent 57 years in the military. My husband's ex-military. Your husband's ex-military. Our
Soon
husband's,
to be.
Is he still in?
Be. Still in. Yes.
Okay. Well, our husbands worked together.
That's it.
Back in the day.
Yep.
So, so this is fantastic. I really appreciate that. So we're gonna cheers to the soldiers. Cheers to
Absolutely.
Smokie.
To our military members.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for serving. This is a great sipping wine. It really goes down nice and easy.
Yeah. So, and it empties from the bottle very quickly. So
Excellent.
easy to drink. It's one of my favorites.
Excellent. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is recognizing that you work very closely with two vineyards in the local area. Which ones are they?
Yeah, so I'm Domaine Perot in Navan. I've been with them for about 11 years. I guess it's my 11th season with them. Smokie Ridge, I've just come on board. It's my second season with them. And I'm a consultant as well for several of the others as needed. So focusing on marketing, driving people to their vineyards, event plans, things along that lines. I often say don't reinvent the wheel. If somebody's been out there and done it, then I can help them to do with lessons learned. So
Yeah. I mean, stick to the easy.
absolutely.
What is the military acronym is KISS.
Yep.
Keep it simple. Silly. So we were talking off camera beforehand, and when I said that the term intellectual property, most people get all scared because they don't know what it is. And you've said...
Yeah, I don't know much about it myself.
That's right. And I'm here to tell you, you know a lot more about it than you think. So when you're doing the marketing for the companies that you're working for, you're a brand ambassador for them. So when we're talking about being a brand ambassador, you are actually presenting the message from these vintners to the public. And that includes presenting at the Eastern Ontario
Wine
Producers. God, why can't I remember that? I keep wanting to put vintners in there. it includes presenting the position of some of these vineyards at the Eastern Ontario wine producers meetings and such, right?
Mhm.
So the message that you're putting out there in everything that you're giving to the public is about trying to get the message of these grape varietals into the public eye so that they're recognized by the public, which can then translate into hopefully a successful application for VQA certification.
Yeah, and VQA certification in different levels.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not getting the grape varietals certified, but being able to be recognized. It's all about the recognition.
Well, and that's what
definitely.
it should be. VQA, Vintners Quality Alliance, I mean, in the name, it's talking about the vintners having a quality to
Yep.
their wines. And why should these wines be removed from that?
These wines are identified. They've won awards. These wines are recognized internationally. We need the Ontario entity to do the same and put us out there and say, hey, we have wines that are equal to what is on your list. Why are our wines not on your list? Makes no sense.
So I think the general public has to get involved, buy the wines,
Absolutely.
share your thoughts with everyone. These wines are actually fantastic, and I'll be the first one to admit that I mean, not as a sommelier, but as a person, I was a little bit, and I think there's a lean towards being kind of trepidatious about the grape varietals. They're not what I'm familiar with.
Absolutely.
I don't know much about them. I'm not familiar
It's
with
like
the
me
flavor
with IP.
profile. Right? So that's why I need a professional to come in and actually guide me through this process. And it's the same thing with the public. The public can get involved. You can contact your local MPs and whatnot.
Please.
So that we can get the governance so that the Eastern Ontario wine producers can actually get their grapes and their wines before the Canadian Vintners Association to get the VQA certification and to be recognized as a geographic indication in Canada. Support your local wineries. Support your local vineyards.
Very much. Shop and drink local.
That's right. See, that's a great... Oh, you didn't tell us what your tagline. So, fortified grape.
Yeah. Fortified grape, bringing grape friends together.
Isn't that lovely? Just so our viewers are aware, who's the head of the Eastern Ontario Vineyard? Who's the head of the Eastern Ontario wine producers?
Yeah, so you can contact Smokie LeBlanc. He's at Smokie Ridge Vineyard.
And that's the wine we're drinking.
And that's the wine we're drinking. So he'll be able to give you any insight, direction on how we can get these grape varietals recognized.
And support your local troops. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw here, please like, share, comment below, and subscribe to our channel. Remember, we're not providing any legal advice here. We're just drinking wine and talking IP. Cheers.
Cheers.